Forgive me for my internet is whacked. It may or may not stay on this whole time. We'll see. It's just an ongoing thing. Yay, AT&T. So I see some familiar faces and I see some unfamiliar faces. So I'm going to go through our usual spiel here for pitch practice. First of all, thanks everybody for coming. What I'm going to do in just a minute is ask everybody to very briefly introduce themselves without giving a pitch, and we'll go through that. Make sure everybody knows who's here, and then we're going to see who's going to pitch. For those of you who have not been here before, my name's Kevin. Nice to see you. I started pitch practice this month. End of this month makes 7 years. So we've been going longer than most startups. Of course, we don't make any money, and we don't have to make any money, so that's all good. So what we do here is try to make new entrepreneurs or first-time entrepreneurs or anybody really just a little bit better at what they're trying to articulate as their value for their startup or their organization. Doesn't have to be a startup, but so the way we do that is through starting with the 30-second elevator pitch. And there's some basic elements to that elevator pitch. I wish I could share my screen, but I can't. So all the details are on my website, kevinsandlin.com/pitch practice. You can see them there. But there's 6 elements of an elevator pitch that you need to nail down. And they don't have to be in any particular order. You don't even have to use them all. It ends up whatever works for you, whatever's effective for you and your organization is what you should do. But a great place to start is with these 6 elements. So your name sounds easy, but if you've got an accent or a difficult name to say, you never know what's going to come out. So make sure you know that you are comfortable saying your name. I've never heard your name before. And since we're in this virtual world now, if you're going to be pitching, you're probably going to be pitching virtually. So get used to it. Get used to understanding the dynamics of your screen, your voice on your computer or your device, whatever you're using, but say your name really clearly, nice and slow. Whether you say it at the beginning or the end or in the middle, whatever it is, say it nice and slow. So when I introduce myself, I just say Kevin, because even though my last name, and you can see it there on the screen, it's not real complicated, but the way I say it, if people don't see it there on the screen, they'll end up calling me Sandling or Shambling or Sandler or Chandler or something like that. It just never comes out right. So I just leave it off. So your name is important. Remember, you're used to saying it. We're not used to hearing it. Same thing with your company name, your organization name is a great example. Bobby's got Denote. He's got it plastered up on the board there. You can't miss it. So if you have that ability while you're pitching to do a virtual background, awesome. I found out the hard way that my brand new MacBook Air does not have enough horsepower to host a virtual background. What a ripoff. Thank you, Apple. So I just do without. It's really weird. I don't understand that. It's a brand new computer. So anyway, if your company name is something unusual like Denote, that's not a word in the English language, but it's a great name for a company. Wear the t-shirt, wear a hat, put it on your virtual background, whatever. Figure something out so that anybody who's watching you just gets that name just soaked into their brain. But I'm looking at Bobby's screen, all I see is him and Denote. There's no way I can miss that. So your name and your company name. Where you want to put all your effort, no matter what you're doing, is on articulating the problem that you solve. Now, this is the hardest thing that anyone will ever do coming through pitch practice. It's just difficult. There's no way around it. The reason it's difficult is because most people fall in love with what they do, with what they're building, and fall in love with their own product. What you need to fall in love with is the problem, because the problem is the big thing that's not going away. And if you can solve the problem, it doesn't matter how you solve it, you can build a good business. So fall in love with the problem and be able to state very clearly, very succinctly what that problem is. And a hint is if you use I, me, we, or us in the problem statement, you're probably wrong, because the problem's not about you. The problem is out there in the universe and you're going to solve it. So think about that. If I ask you, what's the problem? Most people answer with what the organization does. That's not a problem. You want to focus on your problem and the problem that you're solving, whether you saw it, lived it, worked it, whatever. How did you get to that problem? So this is a great impetus for that is the TED Talk Start With Why by Simon Sinek. If you've not listened to that, go listen to it today. 18 minutes, very, very kind of brain changing stuff. So it will help you understand that you exist to solve a problem. That's your why. If you can focus on that problem, you can build a successful business, and you can certainly build a successful pitch. So focus on understanding and being able to articulate the problem. Then your solution, just say what it is. Don't go deep here. Don't go deep on your solution. It's an app, a website, a service, software as a service, a device, a community, whatever your solution is, just say what it is. Don't go deep there. The reason you don't want to go deep there is because, and hear this the right way, I know you don't want to hear this, nobody cares. Nobody cares how you do it. They just want to know that you're solving their problem. When you get to the how you do it part for an investor or a customer, then you've won half the battle, because that's the next meeting. And the purpose of the 30-second pitch is to get the next meeting. You're not going to get a sale. You're not going to get an investment out of 30 seconds. All you're trying to do is move your relationship from here to here. Just move the ball. Move the relationship to the next stage. And usually, if you do it right, if you do a pitch well, the first thing that comes out of that is, oh my gosh, how do you do that? And then you go into the long form of how you do it, how it works, how this all came together. So your name, your company name, the problem, how you solve it. Now, who's your customer? You have to know this. You have to know who your one customer is. Think back on Amazon. When Amazon started in 1993 and they went public on this, they had one customer, book readers. They sold one product, books. That was it. So don't think you can be better than Amazon. You can't. You're not smarter than Jeff Bezos, and you have less money. So focus on one customer. Not everybody's our customer. Everybody is not your customer. You need one. When you're a startup and you have no revenue coming in, you're pre-revenue, you need one customer. Figure out who that one ideal customer is and focus on them. And then finally, your ask, what you need. If you're a startup, you need something. You might need customers. That's the most basic thing. You might need help building your product. You might need a lawyer, an advisor, your first employee, a co-founder, something. Ask for that thing really, really specifically. And 99% of all people who are starting a business don't need to raise money. Unfortunately, it's flipped on those who think they need to raise money. Most of you don't. Very few people need to raise money. So if you need to raise money, be very specific about that. Exactly how much you need. Exactly how long it's going to last. Meaning it's going to last 18 months. My burn rate is this, and exactly what you're going to do with it. So if I'm an investor and I know you've done those calculations of here's how I'm going to spend it, here's how long it's going to last, and here's how much I need, then I know you've done that research. You've done that spreadsheet that shows how you're going to spend it. And you're not just going to go out and buy brand new MacBook Pros for all your employees. So ask very specifically, but whatever it is you need, ask really specifically. So if you need say you need a front-end developer, to say exactly what kind of developer you need, what kind of experience they need, what kind of stack they need to have worked in. Ask really specifically, because especially in this day and age where you got 30 million people out of work, there are developers, believe it or not, who don't have work today. That's incredible. But so ask for what you need very, very specifically. All that rolls up into your 30-second pitch. 30 seconds is totally arbitrary. It's just a bar against which we measure ourselves so that we don't catch people going, yeah, I got to go wash my grandmother's hair. Can I go? You want people to stick around. So you keep your pitch short and to the point. And what we do here is we practice that. Practice over and over and over again as much as you want. And the goal is to get you a little bit better, to give you just a tiny little bit better chance at success. And hopefully that will help. So I'm going to open it up right now. Let's do some introductions. Just tell me, I mean, we could see your names on there, but so say your name and where you're calling from. I'm Kevin and I'm in Roswell. Neil, where are you calling from?
I am at my parents' house, at my mom's house in Florida, near Destin, if you know where Destin is. I did a little impromptu visit home, and so I hope I'm not too sweaty from doing yard work this morning, but I'm calling from the panhandle of Florida.
We can't tell that you're sweaty, and we can't smell that you're sweaty, so it's all Bobby, where are you calling from?
That's because you have a MacBook Air.
That's very sad. Thank you.
Yeah, Bobby calling from Marietta.
Very good. Thank you. Summer, where are you calling from?
Hi, everyone. I'm calling from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Nice. You might get the farthest away award today. Welcome.
Yes.
Alec, where are you calling from?
I am also calling from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Are you two together?
We are
Okay.
in separate rooms right now.
I didn't think there was that big of a coincidence. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Cesar, where are you calling from? Maybe Caesar's not listening or he's on mute.
I'm calling from West Midtown.
Very good. Thank you for joining us. I don't see a name, but whoever's running the fireflies.ai note taker, we'd love to see your face, hear your voice, and know who you are. Or maybe it's a note-taking bot. Totem Agency, I know who you are, but tell us who you are and tell us where you're calling in from.
Hi guys, I'm Ashley calling in from West Midtown.
Very good. Thank you so much. And then finally, India, where are you calling in from?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm calling from West Midtown as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. India runs the It Takes a Village pre-accelerator program at ATV. Is everything going all right down there at ATV? Have you been lately?
I have not been. I know Kellyanne's been there, but I think everyone's been mostly working from home. We see well, they told me they've seen a few founders, but I've been from home since, Ashley, how long has it been? Maybe since March? Yeah.
Crazy. All right, good. Well, so show of hands for those of you who I can see. Raise your hand if you're going to pitch today. I got 3. That's better than the past couple of weeks. That's good. And if those of you who are not showing your camera, if you do want to pitch, that's great. Happy to have it. But when you're pitching, turn on your camera and make sure you hit that unmute button. For everybody else who's not pitching, keep your audio muted. You can turn on your camera if you like. I may or may not have to turn off my video because of my crappy Wi-Fi, which may be a function of my crappy computer. We'll see. So who would like to pitch first? All right, Alex slowly raised his hand. All right, Alec, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna time you. And the reason I time is just to give you an idea of how long you speak. And then when you're done, I'm gonna ask the group to answer the questions about the six elements of the 30-second pitch and see how your message got across. So you won't be answering the questions, everybody else will. All right, so whenever you're ready, take it off the mute button and go ahead.
Thank you. Should I do a screen share because I have a presentation or no? Should I just talk?
For a 30-second pitch, you got a presentation?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. Like I thought it's going to be like because I have like a 5-6 minute presentation of the whole thing, but I can do like a 30-second pitch.
Yeah,
I need to know how this works. So
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So let's do a 30-second first, and then we'd love to hear your 5-minute presentation. And then we can do a screen share. If you may not be able to share a screen, try it right now because I can't.
I think I need to be set up as a host, which I'm not.
Neither am I.
So yeah, I don't think I can do it then.
Yeah, so what I'll do.
You can quickly make them a host, I think.
I can't because I'm not actually the host.
Man. Oh, Hilton is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
If you have her on Slack, you could get her to make me a host. But
Who's Hilton?
Cool.
Hilton runs the events at ATV, and so she's in charge of setting all this up. So we'll go with what we have right now. So Alec, you want to just do a 30-second, and then maybe if we get a hold of Hilton and she can make me a host here, we'll do that. If not, feel free to come back next week, and I'll keep trying to get Hilton to make that change, and then I can share my screen, you can share your screen.
All right, I'm going to start. Hi, everyone. My name is Alec. I'm a founder of Expand. We are a networking and monetization platform for gamers. We're helping gamers make friends, make money, and grow their online presence.
Well, that wasn't 30 seconds. How long do you think it was? You muted yourself again.
I think that was about 10 seconds.
It was actually about 14.
Okay.
So let's see how your message got across. Who can tell me, of the audience, who can tell me what the problem is? Actually, first, let's get the name of the company, because that was a little tricky.
Expand.
Is that just like it sounds, EXPAND?
It's with X, XPAND.
XPAND, expand. Very good. What is the problem that expand is going to solve?
I don't think there was a problem said.
Can you guess?
Was there?
No, I'm asking if you could. I didn't hear it. I'm asking if you can figure it out.
By the way, I'm just not going to answer because I'm like his co-founder, just so everyone knows.
That's fine. That's fine. Anybody know what the problem is that they're solving?
Perhaps online streamers for gaming struggle to monetize their audience as well as grow it and cultivate it.
Okay, can we get any more specific than that? So did you say online gamers or streamers?
I said online gamers that are streamers.
Okay, is there a difference?
You can game without streaming yourself, and not all streamers are stream games.
Oof. So not all streamers are gamers, but not all gamers are streamers.
Right. There are many different types of streams. There's lifestyle streams like cooking shows. There's a whole bunch of content.
Okay. So Alec, is this gamers who are streaming?
That is correct. So this is a platform specifically for gamers. So for a casual gamer or a streamer or like any type of gamer you are, this is a platform for you.
Okay, so it's gamers, including those who are streamers.
That is correct.
Got it. Okay. So can you put words to the problem, the pain that you're relieving?
So the problem is that we're trying to solve is we're addressing 3 problems. One of them is making money as a gamer by playing video games. The other one is finding friends that are like-minded people online or locally. And the third one is grow your followers and your viewers online. So people that watch you online. So
Okay.
Those are the 3 problems we're addressing.
So those are, let me see if I can restate. None of those is a problem in and of itself. So if I'm a gamer, I'm not, so I'm not going to use the right words here. But if I'm a gamer and I want to make a living doing that, I have to monetize that activity, correct?
That is correct.
And in order to do that, I have to have an audience, correct?
Correct.
And in order to do that, I have to make friends and influence people in that area, correct?
Correct.
Right. So none of those in and of themselves are problems. Those are goals. So what I'm getting at is when someone sets out, say they are a very talented gamer and they realize, okay, I think I can monetize this. What's the hardest thing they do?
I would say that where do they start? Not knowing how to do it. So I don't know, I feel like that might be a good way to start this.
Okay, so that would be that you could say that. You could say that most, I don't know how many gamers there are. I don't know what the size of your audience is, but that's very important. So if you can say, there's 100 million gamers out there in the world, I imagine it's probably somewhere up in the millions. You say there's this many gamers and only, what percentage actually make enough money to live on? The rest are just trying and not getting anywhere because they don't know how, correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right. So that when I say your problem statement, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. I'm not a gamer, so I don't understand that. But having been a college athlete, I can say, all right, if there's 100,000 college athletes, maybe 10 will make it professionally in any sport.
Yeah.
And the reason that they make it is one, they have a gift from God that no one else can have. You can't cheat.
Yeah.
You can't learn that. But for the other 9, they've worked harder and done specific things. Here's what they do. So if you take that to gaming, say, okay, some people, may be talented in gaming, but very few people know how to promote themselves and do that. So I think somewhere in there lies your problem statement.
Thank you for that. I feel like I'm going to have to reword it better.
Well, that you see, the reason we bring that up is because there's a continuum, if you will, of pain. So or pain resolution actually. So someone would argue that Facebook is a problem-solving thing. I would say it's not. I'd say it's a luxury. I can live very long and happy life without Facebook. But on the other end of the continuum, if I don't have internet access, especially in the current condition that we're in, I would be very limited as to what I could do.
Yeah.
So having internet access, that's a painkiller. That's a very basic thing. Having Facebook, okay, yeah, if I don't have it, I can live. If I needed to advertise, that's a whole nother problem. So you got to pick up where you want to be as far to this side of the pain continuum or position yourself to be there. So if the gaming industry is blowing up, which we know it is, and people are monetizing, but there's something preventing a lot more people from monetizing, and you can solve that problem, then you can communicate that to your audience. Hey, here's where you're hitting your bar. You're just banging your head against the ceiling of making $10 a day. I can get you to $1,000 a day or $100 a day, whatever it is. Whatever that problem is that you're solving, that's how you attract the audience. Because if I'm that frustrated gamer, I have that problem. And you're saying, I know the problem you have. You've just empathized with me. And next thing you know, I'm following you around like a lost puppy saying, teach me and take my money.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I feel like in my 5-6 minute pitch, I have a lot of this kind of talking about exactly what you're just saying. So hopefully next week, when I do this, you'll be able to kind of hear the whole story. But
Good.
Thank you. That's awesome. The way you wording
That was
this.
really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was not prepared to do a 30-second
Yeah,
pitch.
I didn't know what to expect. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up, Summer, because the reason we start with a 30-second pitch is because you're going to use your 30-second pitch 10 times, 100 times a day. If you get to a 5-minute pitch, that's a once or twice a week thing, maybe. But everywhere you go, every time you meet somebody new, you're going to give some version of that 30-second pitch.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you for taking the time to talk out what the problem was, because it is so complicated when people aren't a gamer. Like, we get on like these tangents, like trying to explain to people what we're doing. So we're trying to come to more of these pitch practices. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we're not done yet. We haven't talked about how you make money. So who can tell us how they make money?
I suspect that they get a bit of a fee of the money that was, I guess, accumulated by users.
Is that true?
That is a good guess. Yes.
So do I pay you a weekly or monthly fee or something like that?
We make money from transaction fees. So every time, it's kind of like Twitch. Twitch is a huge live streaming platform. So every time someone subscribes or donates to you, we take a percentage of that transaction. So
got it. Okay, so I missed the whole part about so if I follow a gamer, I would donate money to them?
Correct. So it's kind of like you're supporting someone that you follow. So you watch people because they're entertaining. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of like a thank you for you to be like, oh, I really enjoy what you're doing. Here's $10. Keep doing what you're doing.
I got it. Okay, good. So that's how they make money. So you take a small fee off of that, whatever they donate or
correct.
Okay, good. And what did they ask for?
Hey, I didn't get that part, but I do have a question around the platform. Is it like a network where you eke out economics from the actual payment processing, right? So if I follow a gamer and I want to help them out with $10, are you involved with the actual payment processing component there?
No, we're not. So the payment would go through PayPal or Stripe, whatever works best for you. So you can donate with PayPal, the money goes directly to that person, or you can go with a credit card through Stripe and the money goes directly to that person. So we're not engaged with the transaction process, really.
That answer your question, Bobby?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so what did he ask for? All right, Alec, what do you need?
Funding. I'm asking for $120,000.
Okay.
That's going to be for the next 12 months, which is going to be used towards to continue developing the product, influencer marketing and partnerships, and social media marketing.
Okay, good. So think about your ask as your closing line. So if you're an act on Broadway or you're a stand-up comedian, you always want to close on the highest note. So your ask is kind of the penultimate part of your pitch, and it needs to be really good. Now, you didn't ask for anything. So you have to work that into your pitch, because if I don't know you're raising money, I won't know to help you raise money, or I won't, if I'm an investor, I won't ask to invest. And so if you're going to raise money, you know that you need $120,000, you know how long it's going to last you, and you said what you're going to spend it on. So you got to work that somewhere into your pitch, if that's the thing you need the most. So to figure out if that's the thing you need the most, ask yourself, if you never even thought about raising money, how long would you last? No, I really want to know.
Right now,
Yeah.
7 months.
Okay, good. Good. That's excellent to know. That helps an investor gauge how much math you've done on a spreadsheet to see, here's how long I can live.
Yeah.
So you can go, you got 7 months of runway, and what you're asking for is basically another 12 months.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. So when you're asking for that money, you want to very, very clearly state, we're raising $120,000 for 12 months of runway, and we're going to spend on this, this, and that. Real short, real clear, no fluff about it. And when you give those three things, like the exact amount, what you're going to spend on, and how long it's going to last, that immediately tells an investor you've done at least some math. And they may dig beneath the surface and find out that, oh my gosh, this is a big mess, or holy cow, this is an unbelievable opportunity. But at the very least, you're kind of pre-qualified to talk to an investor. You've done that very, very basic math. So is there anything else you need? If you weren't raising money, what else would you need?
If I was not raising money, it would be maybe introductions to people involved in the gaming industry.
Okay.
Or introduction to influencers or gaming personalities in the industry. So
okay, good. So that I would ask for one or the other. It depends on your audience. If you know you have investors in the room, then you want to lead with the investment. If you know there are not investors in the room, the question is, what do you want us to do? And you should start your whole pitch with that question in mind. What do you want me to do? And everything that goes into your pitch leads up to that ask. So if it's not related to raising $120,000, I don't need to know it. And you don't need to be wasting your time saying it. So the other thing I don't know about you, we can say your name is Alec, but are you a gamer? Have you been in gaming for 20 years?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you've made how many millions of dollars in gaming, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I have, like you said, probably 20 years involvement in the gaming industry as a professional player, competing in events, as a YouTuber, making videos, and also as a streamer. So I've kind of done the whole thing. I've been at the stage where I was making $0 to where I was doing this full time. So.
So there's your story. And so the one thing I left out when I was doing the intro to pitch practice is when you're giving any pitch, you want to tell a story. And there's a great story, a great TED talk out there by Nancy Duarte about how to tell a story in a presentation. And so you've got a great story. You can say, I'm Alec. I've been a gamer for 20 years. When I first started, I didn't make any money at it. Now I do it full time. Our platform is going to help you become a full-time gamer and make a living at it. So you just introduce yourself as credible, because without that, I don't know, you're just some dude with a brown couch and I have no idea who you are. But when you give a little bit of introduction, and it's not bragging because you've done it, you can say, I've been a gamer for 20 years. I didn't make any money, but now I do. And I can teach you how to do the same thing. So that's your intro that gives you credibility. Once somebody knows that you've done it, then you have credibility to help other people do it.
Should you tell the story even in the 30-second pitch though?
Yeah, it's got to be
Okay.
much shorter and much, catchier, obviously, but absolutely. So think about what he said. I'm Alec. I've been a gamer for 20 years. I started off making zero money. Now I make a lot of money. I'm
I
creating.
totally agree with that.
Say it again, Neil.
I agree. I totally agree with what you just said. That would be a real neat intro, real neat grab first line. It doesn't have to be your life story, just 2 sentences. I've done this.
Yeah, and that's a common theme in any startup, is that you've lived and solved the problem that a million other people are banging their head up against. You've gone over that wall or through that wall or under that wall, whatever it is, and you've crossed that wall and you know how to make money gaming and streaming or whatever. You've done it. That's your story, and that's how you gain credibility. And as an investor, that's how I know I have just a little more confidence in you now, because you've done it. Now, the first question that I'm going to ask if I'm an investor is, all right, tell me how you did it. And if you got some secret that you're holding over here, but you're telling other people to do this way, yeah, a little inconsistent. But you're probably going to say, here's the steps I did, and here's the tools we're going to give you to do it so you can do it. Does that make sense?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments for Alec on, I've already forgotten, expand. I got it.
Yeah, I wanted to say earlier, sometimes it's tricky when somebody tells you what is the problem you're solving, because once you start getting into startup communities, they throw that question at you a lot. And I threw back a question. I was like, well, what problem does candy solve? If you make a really good candy, you might make $1 million, but you're in some cocktail party and somebody asks you, what problem are you solving? It's a real healthy thing to exercise. And for you to say, if somebody asks you, what problem are you solving? You'll say, well, there's a lot of boring people that are getting paid money for people to watch. There's a lot of people way more interesting out there and they aren't discovered. I want to help discover them. And so you can say, boom, there's a problem. To me, that's a problem. And if somebody disagrees and like, I think games are silly, be like, well, I like Brussels sprouts and you don't. This is the problem.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's kind of why we're here, because we're just starting with this, and we're looking for like something like this where we can kind of talk with people and just see if the message gonna get there and people can understand it. So hearing this from you guys is just awesome, and that's exactly why we came here.
Good. Anything else? Other comments?
I would probably also add something. So I agree about specifying the problem. And then one thing that I was really looking for was some sort of contrast that your solution has from the rest, that separates you from the rest. Because we started out with how to build your base or monetize your skills. But when you had mentioned about the monetization, about it was like transaction based, it almost seemed unclear how that was related to your building an audience. Because if you're doing the same thing as Twitch is, for example, in terms of transactions, stuff like that, if Twitch already has that functionality, then why would a customer come to you versus just staying on Twitch? It starts raising questions as to whether you're solving the right problem or maybe approaching it the right way, or how you're even approaching it at all. And then there's one other thing. So what makes you different from everyone else? Because I'm familiar with a few other apps or platforms that other streamers use that are kind of like tip based, that are also similar in terms of what I think is the functionality from what you were saying of how you were monetizing it. So it just raises a lot of additional questions that kind of distracted from this original story that we started with. Is have you ever wanted to make money from playing video games? We can teach you how.
Thank you. That sounds great. And throughout my 5-minute pitch, I kind of have that, kind of explain how we're different and what we're doing. But I definitely appreciate your feedback, and I agree that's definitely important to be addressed.
Thank you, Cesar. Anybody else have any comments?
Oh, sorry, Cesar, if you don't mind, just feel free to message me some of those platforms that you found. Just if you don't mind, like I would definitely be interested in looking into the competitors if I haven't seen them yet. But I have a good list of them, but definitely wanna, if you could just message that to me, that'd be amazing.
Sure.
Very good. Anybody else want to comment? All right, Alec, that was very well done. Hope you learned a lot, and I hope you'll come back and pitch again, because this is what we do. We try to make you just a little bit better, give you just a little bit better chance of success.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for having me. This is awesome, and definitely you'll be seeing me around.
Good, good, good. Thanks a lot. All right, who's going to pitch next?
Hello.
Excellent, Bobby. Thank you very much.
So just like Alec, mine's going to be a bit longer here. I don't have a deck, or I'm sorry, I do have a deck, but it doesn't seem as if I'll be able to share it. I'll still pitch it. And it'll probably be around 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
So,
is there a particular purpose for this pitch? Are you pitching investors, pitching a contest? What are you doing?
yeah, so this is demo day for the It Takes a Village cohort. So we have that coming up in a few weeks here. So
that's supposed to be limited to 3 minutes, right?
4.
Oh, 4 minutes. Okay, they lengthened it.
Are we allowed to come cheer for you guys? When is that advertised and everything?
Yeah, it's virtual. I'll drop a link to the event right here.
Definitely, please do.
All right, whenever you're ready, we'll all mute and you can go.
Cool. Hey everyone, I'm Bobby, CEO and co-founder of Denote, and today I want to talk about how we help online businesses connect to capital and keep equity. I'm sure many of you have gone through some sort of test, and as a serial entrepreneur, I can tell you I certainly have. And through that experience, I found that the lending space is highly fragmented and hard to navigate. And to compound this, filling out loan applications is time consuming, tapping into personal credit isn't best practice, and online lenders focus on brick and mortar retailers. So we solve this by algorithmically matching, comparing, and recommending the optimal financing option. So here's how it works. Business owners first connect their bank account and payment processor, and we match them to funding options. They can then compare these funding options side by side, and then lastly, choose the optimal financing option. And so what makes online businesses so unique is the fact that in a pre-COVID world, they represented the fastest growing sector in our global economy. And in a post-COVID world, we can only expect that trend to continue. Additionally, what makes online businesses special from a lending perspective is the fact that they can more easily variabilize their cost structure in relation to their brick and mortar counterparts. And software businesses have recurring revenue, which is predictable and easier to lend against. By focusing on online businesses, we're able to differentiate from our competitors and create a wedge in distribution. So our competitors like Become, Fundera, and Lendio all have a focus on brick and mortar retailers. And by positioning ourselves in various distribution channels like the Slack marketplace, the Stripe marketplace, and the Shopify marketplace, we're positioned to be in areas where online businesses can easily find us. The way we make money is through a freemium model. Our business users can upgrade to a pro subscription plan all the way up to an enterprise package. And additionally, we charge lenders a fee on deals consummated. Our customers enjoy unlimited access to a catalog of plugins designed to assist at every stage of the funding cycle. So for example, prior to funding, our business users can upgrade and utilize our targeting plugin, which helps the business grow into their funding target. And post-funding, they can use our banking plugin, which helps them manage the new capital into maturity. And so our team is highly technical, fully distributed, and super passionate about solving this problem. And we launched at the beginning of the year on Product Hunt, and since then we've made constant iterations on the product. Additionally, we've brought on a couple dozen capital partners on the platform today, and since then we've matched entrepreneurs to over 350 funding options. We're closing out the quarter by kicking off a lead investment opportunity for our pre-seed round of funding, which is $750K, and we'll use that to double down on product and focus on customer acquisition. And with that, I'm happy to open it up for questions. Thanks so much.
Very good. That was 317.
Okay.
Is that about where you expected to be?
Yeah, I need to add more content, but yeah, that was about what I expected.
Okay, good, good. All right, so we know your name and we can see the name of the company. So who can tell me the problem he's solving?
Getting a loan is frustrating with filling out paperwork, and it's fragmented. The places you go to, who has to go where, and under what circumstances. So it's a dizzying mess, it sounds like, especially for small to medium-sized businesses.
Yeah. It's interesting, Bobby, this is kind of a sidebar, but what have you thought, what have you learned from this whole PPP loan mess?
Yeah, it's been very controversial in terms of, the access that folks have. As you know, the program is designed to help, the mom and pop shops, and it seems as if, these behemoth corporations have been able to take advantage of it. So, we'll see how this shakes out. I suspect there will be some I guess, consequences. And I think there are folks that have, there are folks or businesses like the Lakers, for example. They sent back tens of millions of dollars from PPP.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be investigations, but that's the big concern, the big takeaway I've seen. Bigger businesses, bigger corporations being able to take advantage of the program when it's really mainly for the mom and pops.
Yeah, and I think that exposed what you're going after was that even with a very straightforward, if you can get in, you can get a loan, it was still ridiculously hard for the mom and pop shops to get in there and get it. So it is a very fragmented market. All right, good. So who pays him money?
Well, he has a freemium model, but then there's multiple subscription types.
Is that right, Bobby?
Don't the lenders give you a cut?
Yep, that's exactly right. So 2 streams. So the freemium and then the lender. Yeah.
Okay, good. And what did he ask for?
$750,000, I think.
Yeah, so a lead investment to sort of kick off the round. So probably need to specify that can range anywhere between 100K to $250,000.
But you're raising 750, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in this case, you're seeking the lead investor, and that's tough to find because there's a bunch of followers out there and very few leads. So I'm not sure how you ask for a lead investor. However, if you're talking to angel investors, almost all of them will tell you, well, I see him over there or her over there, whatever they invest in, I invest in. So that person's your leader. So the Charlie Paparellis, the SIGs of the world, they're the ones that you're seeking. Okay, good. So that was a 3-minute pitch. You're going to have a presentation on the demo day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that a slide deck or is that a demo of your product?
It's a slide deck, but I will have screenshots of the product and potentially demonstrations.
Okay. All right. So let's ask the audience here, what questions do you have, or what do you think from his words only, because we didn't see his slides, what would you change or improve, or what questions do you have?
It'd be, if you've got any, it would pop if you could say we've connected X amount of dollars to X amount of small businesses. And then if you can say we helped them keep afloat, or we helped them this or that, that would impact me. And I would imagine you can already say that you've done that. Even if it wasn't inside of your active model, if you've helped connect some people the old-fashioned way through an Excel spreadsheet, I would speak to that. That's exciting. This sounds good. And maybe opening with a sentence like, a lot of businesses go under when they could have gotten a loan, but they had this stack of this obstacle course.
Yeah.
Good. What else?
I have something. I wasn't sure if this is a prototype stage. You kind of mentioned that the money is going to go towards product development, and you mentioned the customer acquisition cost. I feel like it would be awesome to kind of, if you know it, to say like, oh, this is how much our customer acquisition cost is. But so I don't know if you have to develop the product or not, or this is just still idea stage, but I feel like that would be interesting to kind of put out there if you have the info.
Yeah, the product is finished. So most of the dollars would go toward automating the algorithm and building out a data science team. But yeah, really just maybe quantifying the customer acquisition cost and the ask, I think would help a lot too.
Bobby, did you say the product is finished?
Yeah.
Be careful of your words there.
Okay.
The software, it's never finished.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So
something like the product's in beta, or the product's shipped. Our first rev is shipped, something like that.
First initial version.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other questions or comments for Bobby? All right. Well, next week I'm going to do everything I can to get them to turn on the screen share capability, so that obviously we have at least two who are need to practice their longer pitch. So I want to make sure we are able to do that. All right. Thank you, Bobby. Well done.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome. Who else is going to pitch? I just saw we had Thomas Clifton join us. Welcome, Thomas. You're driving.
How you doing? Yes, I'm definitely. How can you tell I'm driving? I'm definitely driving right now. Dropping my dad off. Sorry, guys. I take my father to dialysis, and it takes a long time to prepare him. So that's. Oh, you guys can see me. I have my camera.
Yeah, we can.
All right. Yeah, I just dropped him off here. All right, I'm ready to pitch though. I'm turn this camera off, man. All right.
Pitching while driving. I don't know if we can cover ourselves here.
I know, that's why I'm turning the camera off so I don't try and look at it, but I can. I've got my AirPods in, so I can definitely hear and talk.
Okay, so that'll work. So you want to pitch next?
Yeah, sure. I'll go for it.
All right. Well, so whenever you're ready, just go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm the founder of Metric, which is a hardware technology company, and we help athletes who train to improve their speed. I'm sorry. Let me start that over again. I'm gonna pull over here, right here.
That's probably a good idea.
Yep, I'm pulling over right now.
And then you can turn on the camera too.
Yep, perfect. Okay. All right. Let's do this again. All right. Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm the founder of Metric, which is a hardware technology company, and we help athletes who train to improve their speed. Metric is a system that works by tracking, suggesting improvements, and validating their abilities, helping coaches, scouts, recruiters, and the athletes themselves have greater transparency into their actual abilities. A problem that athletes have is the inability to objectively share and validate their sprint times, but that's where Metric steps in. I'm currently looking for mentors and other professionals in the sports industry to help me navigate building a hardware technology startup. If you want to say hello, just send me an email at hello@metric.com. Thank you very much.
All right, Thomas, thank you very much. How long do you think you just spoke?
Probably 30, 34 seconds maybe.
Pretty good. It was 33.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard the spiel before, but 30 seconds is just an arbitrary bar to make sure you're not blathering on too long. So you're right in the good area there. So from the rest of the audience, who can tell me the name of his company?
Metric.
That's unfair. I think that's unfair. Most of these people are sick of hearing it probably.
That's all right.
Metric?
So it's Metric?
Yes, METRIQQ.
There we go.
Whoa.
That's one of those ones where you want to wear the hat or the shirt or something, because it's a cool name, but there's no way I would have ever figured out how to spell that.
Right.
So good. What is the problem that Metric solves?
Anybody not in the cohort?
Athletes aren't performing to their best ability.
Is that it, Thomas? That the athletes aren't performing at the highest level?
Athletes who train for speed have the inability to track and then to validate their actual their speed ability, like how fast they can actually run.
Okay, so they're relying on somebody doing like this with a stopwatch rather than actual real
Yep.
time. Okay.
That's one of the problems. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So little sidebar there. How big? What's your target market look like?
So in football alone, the 400 athletes, and then professional athletes a lot less. I believe the number is like sub 5,000. So you're looking at a market right around like 1.5. And if you include track and field, the market jumps up to about 3.4 million athletes and boys and girls track and field, including high school and college football.
Okay.
And that's the United States alone.
All right, good. So that kind of takes us into the question of who his target customer is. Who is going to pay him money? Thomas, don't answer this. Let's see if somebody else can answer that. Who's going to pay him money?
Athletes, recruiters, coaches.
Any of those right, Thomas?
Yeah. So the hardware itself, the person purchases it, right? So like, long story short, I envision this being more like the Fitbit for athletes to train for like speed. So this will be the athlete themselves pays for the actual hardware, and then they pay a monthly sort of like platform fee for like training and workouts, stuff like that. On the opposite side, if you are a recruiter or if you are a professional team like the Falcons and you want to have better insights into an athlete that you're recruiting or you're about to pay a lot of money to, then there's the ability to two-way access to ask for that information and then pay for that, as like a one-time service fee, like a LinkedIn email or something like that.
Okay, so do you have any customers? Have you launched the product yet?
I don't. So this is actually my master's thesis. So I've got about 2,000 data points in my like on my computer. I've traveled to 3 different states, and I've been to 5 different combines. And so I don't have any paying customers yet. No.
That's fine. The reason I was asking is to see if I can identify who is your first type of customer. And I'll go back and reference the Amazon model of, they perfected their trade with selling books to book readers. So who is your very first kind of target customer?
Sure. My very first target customer is probably going to be high school athletic programs, because they have the players that I want. I want to try and hook them. And then eventually probably partner up with some people who run combines and be a sponsor of the event. But high school football players, the first target market, and that's only because that's who I studied. But in reality, there's probably a strong tie-in for track and field athletes as well. I just don't know them as well as I do football players.
Got it. Okay, good. So what did he ask for?
If anybody's a technical or to reach out to them.
What do you need? What do you need, Thomas?
Right now, I've never built a product like this in my life. I've done other stuff, so I need assistance from people. I need mentorship from people who built any kind of hardware technology company in the past. I think that's really helpful for me, and I would love to build deeper relationships with more people in the sports industry, sports tech, but trainers, coaches, recruiters, stuff like that.
Got it. Okay. So so you're looking for advice really right now, guidance.
A lot of guidance, yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So who has suggestions for Thomas on how he can improve his pitch?
I would keep doing it. I think it's going in a good direction. I think if you state the problem real clearly, and by practicing this every time that you do it, you'll get it better. Say somebody in Iowa might be a great sprinter, but they aren't able to see some of the nuanced things that people in Chicago can because they go to a fancy school. We want to make a product that can enable athletic programs to start seeing using hardware that's accessible to do stuff like that. I think it's a compelling reason to do it. I would just continue refining the pitch that you got. I think everything's there.
I'd say in relation to the pitch that you're going to do on demo day, maybe sort of frame out a scenario or profile a prospective or imaginary athlete, because this is something that is sort of, I guess, heartfelt for me as a former high school sprinter. You know, there is a problem that you're addressing, and if you can sort of make it more relatable and maybe in a few slides talk about, you know, this is you know, Jake, and he, you know, maybe he missed a scholarship opportunity because of inaccurate data, right? And so if you can sort of frame out a, you know, a model like that, I think it can relate to a lot of people because everyone knows high school athletes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's where I was going to suggest is give us a story, give us some context for the problem, and just kind of what Bobby was saying there. If this was born out of a, you know, athlete who you know may not have, you know, hundreds of hours of film on them doing whatever that they're doing, but they can report consistently excellent times that are accurate. You know, maybe that helps them break through to whatever the next level is, whether it's college or pro or whatever. So give us a story that gives us context around how your product is going to solve a very specific problem.
Gotcha.
Anybody else?
I can say for me, it was a little bit fast. It was kind of hard for me to follow you. So like that was just the only thing that I can say. Everything else it sounded good, but like I was having trouble. Like, wait, what did he say? Wait. So, and it was kind of hard. Like when you started, like, wait, what's his name? What's a company? So it was kind of hard for me to follow. I think it was a little fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely have that T-shirt on that has metric across the top with the 2 Qs. That'll help you. That'll help everybody, and you can focus less on that and say, "Hey, I'm Thomas with metric," and everybody gets it real quick.
I might have to hand paint it. I'm eating ramen noodles these days, so.
Welcome to the startup world. If you hand paint it and you can tell them that story, hey, that's awesome. That means.
Hey Thomas, did you see this other guy on the meeting, Bobby Gilbert? He used Zoom and he put a virtual wallpaper in the background.
Oh yeah.
You can get your metric with 3 Qs on a virtual wallpaper, and you don't have to get a T-shirt. And you can probably make that work yourself, and that'll be just as effective.
Bobby is the man, though. Yeah, the note.
Yes, Bobby is the man.
I'm gonna go to him when I need some money one day.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Thomas. That was well done. Are you practicing for the demo day as well?
Oh dear God, yes. Actually, that's the rest. I have another call now, but after that, like, I need to really get this thing together because my pitch is not doing well right now at all. I'm sorry, my demo day presentation is not doing well at all.
That's right. You'll get there. And so next week, the idea is to have for whatever reason, we can't share screens on here, but we want to be able to let you and others share your screen and do your actual presentation so we can start getting you ready for that demo day.
Sure thing.
Good.
That'd be great. I love that.
Good. Thank you, Thomas.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm going to hop off now, guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Good. Yeah, no more driving and pitching.
All
right. Who else is going to pitch?
Have we got time for one more?
Of course we do.
All right, cool. I'd like to go.
Go ahead.
Here we go. All right. Augmented reality industry is projected to make $150 billion in 2021. It's next year. Pokemon Go is still running strong. It made $90 billion this last year. And it made $60 billion in its opening year. And it's getting more and more. They're getting their business plan down. Snapchat has utilized its face filters to add in 20 extra million users to its user base. Augmented reality is riding high. So where's the problem? Up till now, augmented reality has just been a one-directional medium. You see the things that companies leave you and you smile at it and you see bunny ears on your friends, but you can't make stuff. You can't make bunny ears. You can't make a happy birthday and send it to your mom. And if you could make it, she wouldn't know how to consume it. Your friends don't know how to consume it. So I'm Neil Brennan, and I've put together an app that lets you easily create augmented reality media, whether it's things floating in the air on somebody's tabletop or virtual graffiti on the side of a building. It's Instagram easy to use. It's prepared and ready to go. the business plan will be that sponsors line up on the homepage when you fire up the app. They're going to be clamoring for a spot that people see when they first fire up the app. And my ask right now is that I can get some beta users. We've got it built. The only thing is that we need now is for people to say, what's the best way to lead in, to onboard people, to train them, what grabs them, what doesn't grab them. So we're working through that. So as much as I can get beta users, I would love it. Go to our website and getgarfetti.com. Graffiti is spelled like the word graffiti, but the A and the R are flipped. So getgarfetti.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Neil. How long did you talk?
I'm thinking 47.
I'm sorry, man. It was 1:49 minutes.
Was it? Oof. Sorry. I'm still happy. I feel like it's finally, the baby's growing arms and legs. I can tell what I want there, and I'll be able to boil that down as time goes by. You
can. That was really clear. It's just too much. You don't need all that you said, but everything you said was very clear. So I'm very confident that when I ask these questions, everybody's going to know the answers. I'm confident of that. So who can tell me and spell the name of his company?
I'll go. It's Graffiti, and the whole company is kind of like a customizable AR experience. I feel like that was the problem he's solving.
I think you're pretty close there. So let's who wants to define that problem? See how did he define the problem?
I think he defined it so people have a hard time creating their own augmented reality, and some segments of people have a hard time knowing how to consume it. So he's providing a platform that lets you create augmented reality.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
augmented reality media.
Yeah.
Yeah, the semantics of that I might keep on ironing out. Sometimes it's a 3D model that sits on somebody's table, and sometimes you take a picture of the Mona Lisa and then draw graffiti on it. And how to refer to the semantics of referring to those things, it just sounds weird to say augmented reality media. I'll work on a zippier way to convey that.
Good. And how does he make money? Who pays him money?
Hey Neil. So that was what I was going to ask. One thing that really jumped out to me is when you opened with, I think it was Pokemon Go. You fumbled a bit around the money that they made in their first year.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make that more succinct, because that is really what caught my attention. It's like, okay, there's a market here, right? I think you said something along the lines of 60 billion in the first year.
Yes.
Okay. And that's billion with a B, right? And so, and so if you can, I think it was a little bit of fumble there. I wanted more clarity, but that is really what made my ears perk up. And I think, if you can sort of, really emphasize that, and then sort of, bake in your business model with that too. I know you mentioned later on, I don't know the business model, but I think you mentioned advertisements within the augmented world. But yeah, I just wanted to posit that comment.
Okay, cool. I'll try to make that more clear as well. The business plan, when you fire up the app, there's a landing page, and that's going to be, it has a little chat, a familiar chat interface as the bottom right button, and then it has a map as the bottom left button. So you go into those and you start seeing stuff that's posted around you, or you start chatting with your friends and sending them stuff. But before you do any of that, every user is always going to see the landing page. And so if Coca-Cola says, we want to put a polar bear on your table at Christmas, they get to pay for a spot that everybody sees. And when this thing takes off, that's going to be a hot real estate, the landing page. They can scroll down. It'll be a feed where they can scroll down, but whoever pays the most gets the top of the feed.
Very good. Very good. So did everybody get what how he makes money? That makes sense?
Yep.
Good. And what did he ask for?
Beta users that can test the product right now and show feedback.
Yep. So on that specific one, Neil, I would just really shorten that. Say we're ready for beta users. Go to getgarfetti.com and sign up. I would
Okay.
do that. Setting the expectations of the beta user, that's part of the onboarding. So, when I go and sign up, I should get an email that says, here's what our beta program is going to look like. And
Okay.
so you're setting my expectations in that onboarding process, but keep it real short. Beta is always fun. And, I imagine breaking stuff with an AR app would be even more fun.
Yeah.
You'd want to get people in there. So if you don't have it out on social media, I would get it out there as soon as possible.
Okay.
All right, good. What else can we do? Can we tell Neil to help him improve his pitch?
I really liked the examples. I mean, this isn't really something you can fix. It's good. I liked how you were talking about like what Snapchat's doing and that it's as easy as Instagram. Like I liked hearing that. Like it just kind of painted the picture for me personally. And I thought you did a good job.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, the Instagram easy. Somebody recommended that last week. Do you remember who, Kevin? Kevin gave me that term. I liked it. That's staying in the pot.
Yeah, I've never met anybody who was confused the first time they used Instagram. It was just set up so well and so easily. That first onboarding experience is just, that's why they got so many users so fast and why they sold for $1 billion. So it happens. That's what I thought the way you positioned it, especially with Pokemon Go, was really good. Now, I do have to question it. Did you say that Pokemon Go made $90 billion?
Yes, last year. And that isn't important enough for the 30-second pitch. What I was going to make as the point is that they're making more. In America, we say, oh, Pokemon came and gone. You don't see people. It doesn't look like a George Romero movie outside because Pokemon's over with. But Pokemon's very much alive and kicking internationally, and they got their business plan down. They didn't have a lot of revenue generating things at first. It was just something cool. And as each year goes by, they figure out how to draw people to businesses and how to really harness it as a business plan. So a lot of people, if you say they made 60 billion in 2016, guess how much they made this year? They might say 20 billion. They might say 15 billion. They're not expecting 90 billion.
Yeah.
That might be not needed for the 30-second pitch. Maybe that's a fun conversation for another time, but
I think it adds value because it's keeping it a little shorter. You could say something like Pokemon Go just exploded 4 years ago, but last year they made $90 billion.
Yeah,
that shows, just that statement says, wait a minute, wow. So that gives me, as somebody who's not familiar with AR, a good understanding of the fact that market is exploding and not yet exploded, because Pokemon Go, they just threw that out there as something that would be fun, and it was a great test. They didn't know how they were going to make money on it, but boy, did they learn fast.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad that this is taking short. This is going to be an iterative process, so I'll do everything to try to be back here next week if my family doesn't kill me with yard work and stuff. And it'll get. I'm taking these notes down too, and we'll see it get more and more polished. So I appreciate your guys' feedback.
Absolutely, and keep enhancing it, and that you're right. That's a great way to say that it is an iterative process. Every time you pitch, every time you say those words, you're going to learn something new from whoever your audience is, whether it's us or a bunch of gamers or a bunch of AR freaks, whatever it is. You're going to learn something new and be able to iterate into the next version. Good stuff. Thank you, Neil.
All right.
Who else is going to pitch? Anybody? Awkward silence. Going once, going twice. All right. So we've been getting these videos a couple days later. So this whole thing was recorded, and this will be up on our YouTube channel. So youtube.com/pitch practice. You can see previous episodes. It's this quality of video. So if somebody, if my internet doinked out in the middle, you won't see me on there for a little while, but the whole thing keeps going on Zoom. So those videos are out there, and as soon as we get this one, we'll put it out there as well.
Hey guys, one thing I want to leave you guys with. I know I promised the link for the invite for the It Takes a Village cohort demo day. I'm going to drop that here before we sign off.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back here in 1 week.
Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet you.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
baby. Come on, support